Hello and welcome to my fourth developer diary. Basically this week I'm going to be going through all the stuff that I've managed to get done over the week, which is actually quite a lot, and I'm really proud of the amount that I've managed to get done. Run into a few little problems, but I'll go through them as we come to them. But for now, let's have a look at the sprint sheet. So let's bring it up. There we go. Right, so what I managed to get done this week was, as you can see, quite a lot. I got the animated and idle, run, dodge left and dodge right, jumping, falling, landing, and stabbing animations for Subject 17. Basically, I figured out the problem that I was having with the animations, where it wasn't exporting from Maya properly, so it basically just made the model bobble up and down without actually playing, like moving any of the joints or anything. But I figured it out. Basically, I forgot I was exporting an FBX file rather than just literally pressing the export motion button on the Epic animation and rigging tool. So that was a pretty simple problem to fix. Obviously, it wasn't really a problem. It was just me being just a bit stupid with not realising there was a button to do the animation export rather than me doing it manually. Other than that, I managed to get a modelled, textured and rigged enemy character. Basically, you'll see how I managed to get that done in a week. It's basically the same base rig as base mesh as the Subject 17 character, but I've changed all the colours on it, and I've added, took away the left arm and added like a hook arm thing. I like the design of it, and I was happy for now. Obviously, I can go back and change the update the rig and make it like a bit more detailed and stuff later on. I just wanted to get like an enemy in the game working. But basically the reason I styled it that way is because in the story the enemies that you face within the labyrinth are going to be previous versions of yourself. Now logically, if you're making a lab experiment, you wouldn't change the entire design of something just because it fails once. So that's why it looks very similar to, Subject 17 looks very similar to its predecessors. So obviously it makes more sense from a story point of view, and it also makes designing the characters a lot easier as well. For that character, I've also managed to create a walking stab, walk cycle, and a standing stab animation for the character, which all work within the engine because I just literally had to copy the blueprint from Subject 17 but change the mesh and animations. I've also created a piece of concept art for the level. It's not quite finished yet, so I won't show it you until it's finished, because it's a very work in progress piece, and you won't be able to see very much from it. Basically, what I've done is taken a screenshot of the white box for the level, and I'm just drawing over it just to get the proportions and everything right, rather than trying to draw it out by hand, which takes a lot longer. I was going for like a quick piece of concept art to show my original idea for it, rather than making something from scratch. I've also created a working player character within Unreal. It's got working animations, movement mechanics, so the dodge and stab and jump all work. Like all the animations play when you press like a key, so the dodge left is Shift A, dodge right, Shift D, jump spacebar, and then the stabbing animation is the left mouse button, which also stops halfway. Like if you get halfway through the animation and then let go of it, it will stop, which is actually quite a nice feature. Like obviously I might change it later on, but for now it'll be fine. And I've also created a basic AI that moves from point to point. So what it does is when the game starts up, the enemy character spawns in a certain place, and then it moves from one point to the other point. When it gets to one point, it waits a second, moves back to the original point, waits a second, and so on and so forth for infinity. But yeah, the work to be completed next week is to set up the AI to react to a character. So from what I've been told by a classmate, setting up an AI to react to the character is very easy. All you'd have to do is put a trigger volume on the actual character, so on the enemy character, when something overlaps with it. So when Subject 17 overlaps with this mesh, it will move to Subject 17, which is what I want to happen. Then, after I've finished that, I'm going to set up a health system, damage system, and power-ups. So they will all affect each other, obviously. But basically, the health system, you're going to start on a certain amount of health. Damage, it's going to take away from that health. Power-ups will either increase the original value of the health, or increase the amount of damage that you can do. They're obviously designed to make the game easier as you're going through it. Other than that, I need to complete the work that I didn't do last week, which was only a small amount, so finish the menu music soundtrack and complete the in-game sound effects. The sound effects are pretty much done anyway, I did them quite a long time ago. But yeah, I just need to kind of turn them up a bit, put some echoes on them to make them more realistic for the environment. And other than that, the last thing that I've got to do is write 3 pages of the design document, which I did actually start this week as well, which I forgot to mention from the other column. So yeah, the work that wasn't completed this week was finish the menu music and begin working on the in-game sound effects. I put those off because they're not as important as getting the game working the way I wanted it to, and it's absolutely fine. It's not a huge setback at all. So let's go into the game design document and have a look at that. So basically what we've got here is like the entire design document, all the headings and stuff are laid out. I've started writing a little bit of the document, so like game overview and stuff like that. I've added some little notes to it as well, just to let me know what I need to put on and what I need to kind of fix up a bit. Like this section that's highlighted, it's not as detailed as I want it to be, so I'm going to go back later on, but this is basically just putting placeholders in for now. What else have we got? We've got the level design document as well, which I finished the level design portion of this week for the interim submission. So I've got level design document here. It's got like, napkin sketches and like your photo references and stuff that I used when creating the idea for the level. Then we've got the concept text mentioned, so taking the napkin sketches, making them more detailed. Some basic assets that are going to be the focal points, so the pillars that go up and down, and your chests as well. Then we've got like a placeholder piece of concept art. It's not as clear as I want it to be. It's just not great. So I'm in the process of redoing it. And then we've got the asset list as well. And on the final page, whiteboxing, which I've shown you before. Yeah. Window. There we go. That's the right window. So as you can see, I've taken out the ceiling because I accidentally deleted it. It's not a huge deal. I need to redo the ceiling anyway, so it's completely fine. Yeah. As you can see, give the player a light source, which you can actually turn on and off with the tab key. It's got fully working walk cycle, your jump, and your stabbing animation as well. And the shift, dodge mechanic. So it dodges to the right if you press shift D, and then shift A dodges to the left, which is pretty cool. One bug that I have found with it that I need to, it's a very simple fix, is basically if you jump and do the dodge, it flings you a lot quicker than I intended it to. Basically it's because there's no enough air resistance, friction, whatever it's called, applied to the character, so it does flick a lot quicker. But there's a minor thing that needs fixing. Let's have a look at the AI as well. Spawned outside the level, that's great. There we go. Yeah, it's because I clicked the wrong part. So if I play, as you see, the AI moves to one point, waits, and then moves back to there. One thing I noticed, if I stand in his way, will actually try and get around me, which is pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much everything. Oh, I'll just show you the stunning stab animations and stuff that we've got. So we've got standing stab, your walk cycle, and your walking slice. Obviously I need to put those onto the character, but for now, I know they're in there, they're working. I'm just getting up the movements out first. Then we've got dodging animations and stuff for Subject 17. Got falling, idle, your jump bend, jump start, run cycle, sword swing, and your walk cycle. But yeah, that's basically everything for this week. Like I said, I'm really proud of the amount I've managed to get done this week, and hopefully I'll be able to keep up the pace for next week, because I've got quite a lot to do. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next week.